At least half Irish, if not 75% Irish. And I've never been to Ireland.
It is great.
beautiful.
Maybe the next Frozen could be.
We can go to
You
Dublin.
never know.
It does get quite cold, but it's mostly rain. But maybe she could like turn it into snow and ice
There
or
you go.
something. I'm giving you guys
you
ideas.
go.
Hopefully you'll go with them. So I suppose congratulations on the movie. I like this even more than the first Frozen, if I'm
thank
honest
you.
with
That
you.
means a
you.
lot. Thank you. Thank you.
I think that what you did really well was that you took your time with it, didn't rush into a sequel. It comes 6 years after the first Frozen and everything. I was wondering, when you have that amount of time, like what do you dedicate the most, kind of invest the most in? Would it be the story? Would it be the character development, the animation? Which of those would kind of take up the most time, I suppose?
It's always I think
the
character and
story.
story together, they're always intertwined, and it does. I mean, we were still rewriting all the way to August because they're really hard to crack, and especially if you want them to speak to people of all ages, you want things to resonate with children, but also resonate with adults. So there are layers to every scene. All of that on top of the fact that the music and the story have to almost be married, and that relationship, there's a lot of courting that goes on between songs and scenes. So for us, it really is crafting the story, and we don't want to rush that. I think it was nice to have the extra time compared to the first one, but it also, for us, I think we needed it because we didn't know what we were getting into, and I think it is much harder to do a next chapter. Even though you think you know the characters, I think just not letting the characters go where they need to go and speak to you that way versus having the first one in your head. I think that was a big challenge.
Just picking up on what you were saying about the songs there. The songs are as catchy as ever, and I think that it's great that, you know, the songwriters Kristen, Anderson-Lopez and Robert Lopez are back. How does that kind of working relationship with them work? Because, like, I'd imagine there's a lot of communication for, like, exactly what you want, but then you also obviously have to give them the space to be kind of creative and do their own thing as well.
Yeah, exactly.
We work with them every day. They're in New York, we're in LA, so it's video conferencing. Even if it's just a few minutes, but usually it's about an hour or hour and a half, whatever, and we just talk about the story development because there's so much that changes when we're working on it during the day. We have to keep them up to speed, and then there's a lot of ideas that they're bringing. So there's so much of that. There's so much that's happening there, and you know, we really are kind of one brain together. And I know that Jen works so closely with them too. It's funny how. I always love the idea. They admitted it, like in the first movie, they said, you know, we're going to take your best scenes that you've written and we're going to make them songs and we're going to make them ours. It's just like, okay.
They always make it much better than anything I could do.
But it's
so.
always those scenes that are the most emotional, or there's some, or even the funniest, or whatever it is, because they like the heightened kind of moments that just need to be sung.
Did you guys draw from like kind of folklore and mythology, you know, similar to the first film for the story in this one?
Yeah, even more so. We when we were traveling to Norway, Iceland, and Finland, we really saw the forests were like enchanted forests from all the folk tales from Scandinavia, and we could see Anna there as that ordinary hero, the fairy tale character, non-magical in a magical world. And then Elsa, the Old Norse myths of Iceland, which, you know, were rooted also in Scandinavia. But went older and deeper into the mythic realm of the mythic character is magical, carries the burdens of the world, often has a tragic fate, but it's so much aligned with Elsa, and realized we had, in Frozen 1 even, two stories running parallel, and the wrestle of the myth and the fairy tale. In this second film, it really helped us drive to see just how far we could go.
I suppose my very last question for you guys is, the message of the first Frozen is, you know, to let it go. And I know you've spoken before, Jennifer, about how empowering that's been for young people if they're struggling in school, if they're struggling with anxiety. What do you think is the message that young audiences will take away from Frozen 2?
Ooh.
Well, one of the things we talk about is sort of the power of perseverance.
Yeah.
That, you know, we see our characters really challenged in this one, and they do persevere, and, you know, where
Never
they
give
end up in the end, I think, is a very, very strong place. And so the challenge of that, and then how you can come out much stronger in the end.
And the same for you, Jennifer?
Yeah, I think he said it well. I think coping with change is a big thing. and stepping into the unknown. Those are scary things in life. But where Frozen 1 was a more looking at relief, acceptance, Frozen 2 really dares you to act and participate in the world. And so I like that one's an acceptance, but one is an action.
Far away, as north as we can go, once stood an enchanted forest.
You've seen an enchanted forest?
Yes, it was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out.
Wow, Papa, that was epic.
What would I do without you?
You'll always have me. Has Elsa seemed weird to you?
She seems like Elsa.
There's this voice. Voice? What does that mean? Head for the cliff!
I'm gonna blow! I've got you!
The kingdom is not safe. Find who is calling to you. They may have answers.
I'm going with you.
Anna? No.
Excuse me, I climbed the North Mountain, survived a frozen heart, and saved you from my ex-boyfriend, so, I'm coming.
That's normal. Where are we?
How did you get in the forest?
The mist parted for us.
Impossible.
Where did you learn magic?
Elsa, get out of there!
You can't just follow me into fire.
Then don't run into fire.
Magic is very alluring. Without you, she may lose herself to it.
Protect Arendelle at all costs.
I believe in you, Elsa, more than anyone or anything.
Quick question. Is the whole putting us in mortal danger gonna be a regular thing?